Transition Form, Tran 1. 1. Go to the GST Common Portal homepage by accessing the link given below, https://www.gst.gov.in/. 2. Go to the user login page and enter your valid credentials and click on the login page. 3. Your dashboard will appear after login. Go to the Services tab, click on Returns and after that click on the Transition Forms options. 4. The Transition Forms page will be displayed. Choose the Yes or No option for the question whether all the returns required under existing law for the period of 6 months immediately preceding the appointed date have been furnished accordingly. Note: only relevant tables will be visible depending on the option selected. If you select No, then table tile number 5 and 8 will be disabled. 5. You shall be witnessing several tiles describing different tabs to furnish the relevant details. Click on the respective tabs to furnish the same accordingly. Amount of tax credit carried forward. Under this tab, you are required to furnish the details of the tax credit to be carried forward from the last return under the existing laws to the GST regime. Details of capital goods for which unavailed credit has not been carried forward. Under this tab, you are required to provide the details of capital goods for which unavailed credit is to be carried forward. Details of the inputs held in stock. Under this tab, you are required to provide the summary details of the inputs held in stock and input contained in semi-finished goods or finished goods held in stock on the appointment date. 4.7b. To provide details of eligible duties or taxes paid in respect of inputs or input services received on or after appointment date but duty or tax has been paid under existing law. Details of transfer of SENVAT credit for registered person having centralized registration. Under this tab, you are required to provide the summary details to transfer SENVAT credit admissible as CGST credit to any of the newly registered persons under GST having same PAN for which the centralized registration was obtained under the existing law. Details of goods sent to job worker and held in a stock on behalf of principal under Section 141. Under this tab, you are required to provide summary details of goods sent to job worker and held in stock by the job worker on behalf of principal by the principal and agent. Details of goods held in stock as agent on behalf of the principal under Section 142. Under this tab, you are required to provide summary details of goods held in stock as agent on behalf of the principal under Section 142.14 of SGST Act and the admissible credit to the agents on such stock. Details of credit availed in terms of Section 142.11c. Under this tab, you are required to provide summary details of tax paid under existing Act and the allowable credit under GST on supplies which were taxable under both existing VAT and service tax regime and also taxable in GST regime. Details of goods sent on approval basis 6 months prior to the appointed day, Section 142.12. Under this tab, You are required to provide summary details of goods sent on approval basis 6 months prior to the appointed day, Section 142(12). 6. Click on the amount of tax credit carried forward to furnish the details in the returns filed under relevant earlier laws and admissible as GST credits. Note: the registration numbers under earlier laws mentioned in any table of Tran 1 need to be the same as that declared by the taxpayer in their enrollment registration form, otherwise system will throw validation error. If the taxpayer has failed to furnish any registration number of earlier laws, he may use the non-core registration amendment facility to declare it in the registration details and subsequently file Tran 1. The credit carried forward, Central Tax, summary page will be displayed. Click on the Add Details to proceed further. 7. After clicking on the Add Details, several tiles shall be displayed. The details to be furnished against the same are as below. A. Enter the registration number under the existing law, Central Excise and Service Tax, under the registration number under existing law, Central Excise and Service Tax, tab. B. Select the tax period from the drop-down list, under the tax period to which the last return filed under the existing laws tab. C. Select date of filing of last return using the calendar, under the date of filing of the return tab. D. Enter the balance CENVAT credit carried forward in the said last return, under the balance CENVAT credit carried forward in the said last return tab. E. Furnish the details of CENVAT credit admissible as ITC of Central Tax in accordance with CGST Act provisions, under the CENVAT credit admissible as ITC of Central Tax in accordance with Transitional Provisions tab. Moreover, please add the reclaim of CENVAT reversal as per CGST Rule 149. Click on the Save button to save the details. 8. After furnishing the details and clicking on the Save option, go back to the Transition Forms page and click on the Statutory Forms tab and the Credit Carried Forward, Statutory Forms, summary page shall be displayed. Click on the Add Details option. Note: in case of large number of invoices, download the utility provided by clicking on Click Here option mentioned. Use the CSV file to upload the same with the name as per your GSTIN ID CSV. The last uploaded data shall be securely saved. 9. After clicking on the Add Details options, the Credit Carried Forward, Statutory Forms, Add tab will be displayed. A. From the drop-down list, select the form type. B. Furnish the detail of the TIN number of the issuer of the statutory form, under the TIN of issuer field. C. Enter the name of the issuer of the statutory form, under the name of issuer field. D. Furnish the details of the serial number of the statutory form issued, under the SR. Number of form field. E. Enter the total amount as declared in the statutory form, under the amount field. F. Enter the applicable VAT rate on those transactions, under the applicable VAT rate. Click on the Save option after furnishing the details. 10. After furnishing the details and clicking on the Save option, go back to the Transition Forms page and click on the State UT Tax tab and the Credit Carried Forward, State UT Tax, summary page shall be displayed. Click on the Add Details option. 11. After clicking on the Add Details options, the Credit Carried Forward, State UT Tax, Summary tab will be displayed. A. Furnish the details of the VAT registration number in the existing law, under the registration number in the existing law field. B. Enter the balance amount of ITC of VAT and entry tax carried forward in the last return, under the balance of ITC of VAT and entry tax in last return field. C. Enter the turnover for which C-Forms is pending for the period April 1, 2015 to June 30, 2017, under the turnover for which C-Forms pending field. D. Enter the amount for the difference tax payable on pending C-Forms, under the difference tax payable on pending C-Forms field. E. Enter the turnover for which F-Forms is pending for the period April 1, 2015 to June 30, 2017, under the turnover for which F-Forms pending field. F. Enter the amount for difference tax payable on pending F-Forms, under the difference tax payable on pending F-Forms field. G. Enter the amount for ITC reversal relatable to C-Forms and F-Forms done earlier as per provisions of existing laws while reporting in the related returns, under the ITC reversal relatable to C-Forms and F-Forms field. H. Enter the amount of turnover for which HI-Forms is pending for the period April 1, 2015 to June 30, 2017, under the turnover for which HI-Forms pending field. I. Enter the amount of difference tax payable on pending HI-Forms, under the difference tax payable on pending HI-Forms field. J. Enter the amount of transition ITC of state tax admissible as ITC under SGST Act, under the transition ITC field. Click on the Save option after furnishing the details. Note: the system will validate the entries, and if there is any validation error, system will show status as processed with error. On clicking the Edit button against that entry, the nature of validation error can be seen on the top portion of screen. 12. After clicking on the Save option, go back to the Transitional Form page and proceed further by clicking on the Details of Capital Goods for which unavailed credit has not been carried forward tab. The Capital Goods Summary page will be displayed. Click on the Add Details to furnish the data. 13. After clicking on the Add Details options, the Capital Goods Summary tab will be displayed. A. Enter the details of the invoice or document number, under the Invoice/Document Number tab. B. Select date of invoice document using the calendar, under the Invoice/Document Date tab. C. Enter the registration number of the supplier. This field is not mandatory if the capital goods are imported from a place outside India, under the supplier's registration number under existing law field. D. Enter the registration number of the recipient, under the recipient's number under existing law field. E. Enter the total value of the capital goods, under the value field. F. Enter the total value of the taxes paid under VAT and entry tax, under the taxes paid VAT and entry tax field. G. Enter the total eligible VAT and entry tax credit under existing law, under the total eligible VAT and entry tax credit under existing law field. H. Enter the total value of VAT and entry tax credit availed under existing law, under the total eligible VAT and entry tax credit availed under existing law field. I. Enter the total value of VAT and entry tax credit unavailed under existing law, admissible as ITC of state UT tax, under the total VAT and entry tax credit unavailed under existing law, admissible as ITC of state UT tax, field. Click on the Save option after furnishing the details. Note: the system will validate the entries, and if there is any validation error, system will show status as processed with error. On clicking the Edit button against that entry, the nature of validation error can be seen on the top portion of screen.